Hello class, welcome to Lesson 8, our final presentation for Management 300 Principles of Management. Your learning objectives for this week. After completing this lesson, you should be able to define operations management and its three stages: inputs, conversions, and disposition. Describe material requirements, planning, MRP, and understand its use in operations management. Be familiar with conversion process tools of operations management, including Gantt charts, PERT networks, and statistical process controls. Explain the role quality management plays in the operations management process. Understand and apply principles of Kaizen, just-in-time manufacturing, and Kanban. Describe management control and understand the importance of control systems, and identify major types of bureaucratic control. This week, your reading assignment is Chapter 15, Operations Management and Management Control. Again, review your syllabus and assignments for any additional readings or videos. You have two activities this week, your discussions and your exam for Chapter 15. Be sure to participate in discussion question 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 if you are making up the last week of class missed, or if you are a fully online student. Operations management is the process an organization uses to establish materials or ideas, the process of transforming them into the product, and the process of providing the final product to a user. There are three stages of operations. You have inputs, like raw materials, components, labor, energy, knowledge, and technology. Then there's the process of conversion, where you have facilities, capacities, processes, and controls, as well as outputs of goods, services, and information. So again, the three stages are inputs, conversion, and outputs. Operations management includes planning, strategic planning decisions to include make-buy analysis or capacity analysis, facilities process, facilities layout. What are you able to accomplish within the structure of your operation? Acquiring inputs includes including materials, energy, information management, technologies, facilities, and labor. Materials requirements planning, MRP, is the process of analyzing the design to determine the materials and parts that it requires in the production process. Inventory, right? You want to look at things like your optimum inventory levels, how they're set. Reordering systems, which help keep inventory levels constant at perhaps a fixed point reordering system or a fixed interval reordering system. Depends on what you're trying to do. And it's going to determine which one's best for your organization. The conversion process, you have designing the process, includes things like Gantt charts, load charts, PERT networks, facilities layouts, flexible manufacturing. Those are all very useful tools for designing your process of conversion. Monitoring the process includes acceptance sampling or statistical process controls. A Gantt chart basically looks at all the processes and tries to mark them out by the dates, how long are things going to take as part of the process. Some things will go from the start to the finish, and some things will take 1 week, 2 week, 1 day. They'll take up some part. Some things, as I say, span the whole process. Some can be carried on concurrently. Some are essentially, you have to do these things before you can do the next. A load chart looks at kind of who's doing what, so you have an idea of who you need in terms of employees to complete particular tasks. A PERT network looks at all the various relationships in terms of when things will occur in the overall process. Statistical process control tools, check sheets, Pareto analysis, process flow analysis, cause and effect diagrams, process capability measures, control charts. These are all things that you're going to need to be familiar with as a manager within an organization. Be sure to, again, review all those terms within your text to make sure you understand the distinctions between each of those concepts. Disposition of the product. The order, review, release activity is critical there. Managing quality, you have a number of quality management concepts. W. Edwards Deming, the father of quality management. Can you look at some of the ideas there? External standards driven by customers, a focus on the system itself, a belief that quality is integral to the work process are all concepts of managing quality. The total quality management concept is based on the belief that all of an organization's activities should be focused on improving its product. Plan, do, check, act. Make sure that you're doing everything that you need. Plan appropriately, do what you need, check that you're doing it well, and act. Quality looks at management, employees, customers, suppliers, production process. The concept of a Kaizen is a Japanese term. It's the need for continuous improvement in an organization's production system from numerous small incremental improvements. Just-in-time systems are systems that create the product in the least amount of time, develop a smooth integrated production process in which steps are performed just as subsequent steps require them, so there's not a lot of downtime between steps. Kanban is a form of just-in-time system originated in Japan. Cards are shipped with products and returned to the supplier to generate a reorder. The drawbacks in just-in-time systems, there is essentially no buffer because an organization has just enough inventory. So if something's wrong or broken and your parts, you're going to be stuck a little bit. If there's a snafu in getting a part that you need for the next step, it's a problem. Other quality management systems, process reengineering, changing the entire production process, right? So you look at how the current system is working and decide how you need to re-engineer it to make it better. Management control, there are a number of bureaucratic controls, which include things like establishing standards, measuring performance against those standards, identify shortcomings, and then taking corrective action. The control chart that's provided in your text provides upper control limits and lower control limits as well as standards over an observable period. It's a useful chart to understand in order to understand kind of the nature of what you're trying to do. Types of bureaucratic controls include feed-forward controls, concurrent controls, or feedback controls. It's important that you understand the definitions of each and how they're distinct from each other. And again, now we're at the end of the course with Chapter 15. Be sure to review the learning objectives for this week. I hope you had a great term. I've looked forward to working with you, and I hope to see you again in the future. I wish you all well, and thank you again for your attention and your hard work this term. Thank you.